In Minnesota, they are meeting in the postseason, and this is shaping up to be a rivalry because back in 2023, Denver took down Minnesota in 5 games. They went to their first championship, and they won that, their first in franchise history. And then the following year, it was Ant and the Timberwolves. They came back from down 20 in Game 7 to beat Denver. So here's what Ant had to say about the Nuggets.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to call it but a rivalry. Yeah.
Is that good for the league? You don't see a lot of rivals in the league, or do you think that's good for the league?
I think it's a lot of rivalries in the league. You know, yeah, for sure. I think me and Denver is one of them.
A little bit of everything, like you said. Probably got to call the guy and talk to him for a little bit and, ask him for a few favors. But it's going to be a tough matchup. He's an incredible player. He does so much on the floor for that team. So it's going to be a battle, but, we're prepared. We're ready for it. And,
I know I'm going to cut to the end. I know you're picking Minnesota to win this in 7.
Yeah.
What are they doing with Jokic? How are they slowing him down?
I think you just got to send a couple different defenders at him. There's not going to be one thing where you can just have the same defender on him all game. He needs to see a variety of defenders. He needs to make sure that every time he catches the ball, he sees a flood of defenders showing that they are alert, that he has the ball, and everybody's willing and ready to play. But you're not stopping Jokic.
Right.
You're not doing anything but trying to take away all the other gifts that might lead to momentum situation. I mean, Jokic is one of the best in the league at saying, hey, I can use the pass to get these guys going. That could end up a 6-point swing. That could end up sending you into a timeout. I think if you take those things away and force him to actually be a scorer but limit his other options, I think you could actually end up with some positive results.
So how does Ant do it? Give me what Ant does in this series. What does Anthony Edwards need to do for them to do what you're picking them to do, which is to win this series against a Denver team that a lot of people really like?
Yeah, I don't like counting the Timberwolves out. The Timberwolves are still that team that they get their back against the wall and something magical happens. I don't know what it is. I wish they didn't have to do that. I wish they could just, from the jump, just get on it from the jump ball, just be able to say, hey, man, this is how we play. We're coming this way, and we know exactly what to do at the end of games. But they don't do that. Sometimes they go down in a series. Sometimes they look like they don't have any fight at all, and they can reel off 3 straight games. I'm not counting them out anymore. I respect what they do, and I'm waiting on Ant-Man to turn the corner.
I think it's an important point. The game that Minnesota won in this matchup, it was a Sunday afternoon game on ABC. I think it was March 1st. Jokic took 29 shots. Jamal Murray took 22. They didn't double him at all. I think they stayed at home, and they said, Jokic, you can eat. You're going to eat anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to shut everybody else's water off. And they won that game on the road, dominated from start to finish. I wonder if that's going to be their strategy. You know you can't stop Jokic, so why even try?
Exactly.
And if you're thinking about DraftKings Sportsbook and you're thinking that might be the strategy, you're thinking about maybe Jokic putting up very big numbers, particularly involving scoring in this series. We'll see. We got splits here. All of us think it's going to be a great series. All of us think it's going 7. And Sharpe has Minnesota.
I want to see him in the NBA Finals. And right now, we don't know if they're going to get out the first round. Because they're going up against Jokic and Murray. And Jamal Murray, when this brother's an all-star for the first time this year, even though he's a champion before that, and a closer. But if this dude is on his game, and Jokic is on his game, I don't know if anybody can beat the Denver Nuggets, let alone Minnesota. So we got to pay attention to that, because I think that's where the most intrigue comes in the series. That's how I view it. The biggest intrigue in the Eastern Conference, to me, is the Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. Because Jalen Brunson's going to get his 30, no matter who's guarding him.
What do you think?
I would say so, because I think that Jokic and Murray can't be summarily dismissed. They're 3-1 against Minnesota this year, but Minnesota has knocked them out in the playoffs before. Ant-Man averages 30 against them on 46% shooting, and he elevates his level of play because it's required. We have to remember that even though Minnesota has had the advantage in the postseason, the reality is that when you look at the combination of Jokic and Jamal Murray, they can beat anybody when they're clicking on both of them, when they're clicking together. That dynamic two-man team. Doggy, I interviewed Coach Chris Finch on your channel, my show, your channel, yesterday. And obviously, you know what, he conceded the same thing in terms of who they are, what they bring to the table, and how formidable they are. So I definitely think that Ant-Man is right. And I think that's the right attitude for him to have because Denver is clearly capable of sending them home.
Yeah, they sure would be a very good series. I don't look at it as a rivalry, though. A second-round playoff series in the NBA historically is not going to be a rivalry situation, so I don't quite look at it that way. Plus, Jokic, now listen, I'll tell you a rivalry. Jokic against Wembanyama, San Antonio, Oklahoma City down the road, that's got a chance to be a big rivalry. Two huge teams, they're young, stars on each end, playing for a conference final. That I think you got a good chance for Spurs Thunder for the next 5-6 years, every game being a huge game. I don't look at Denver and Minnesota on that level. I think Steve's right. I think Denver can beat anybody, and Edwards gives the Timberwolves a puncher's chance because he can go and score 50 in any of these games. But at the end of the day, Nuggets are playing well right now. They won 14 in a row. They did a nice job. They played well. I would think Denver will win the series.
So the Nuggets won the chip, we remember, in 2023. And then the next year in the semifinals, the Timberwolves beat them in 7 games. So they've kind of built this thing now in the postseason, it feels. We'll see what happens in the first round this year. Because there has not been a repeat champion in the NBA in 8 seasons.
All right, in the 3-6, the Denver Nuggets, try as they might to not be the 3. I mean, protect their players from injury. Sorry.
Listen, don't start that. I've been chastised for suggesting they were trying to duck the Wolves.
Me too.
What do we say in the pod, fellas? Actions over words.
Well,
Actions
they
over
arrive after everything they've gone to. Peyton Watson is still dealing with the hamstring, but they arrive mostly healthy. Most important, Aaron Gordon is healthy. The Wolves arrive with their team was banged up late. Jayden McDaniels and Edwards. We'll see exactly how healthy Ant is. Ant has been bionic, but he has had this knee thing, this swelling thing in his knee that he's had trouble getting rid of. And, earlier this year, he's never missed. I feel like he's missed more games this year than his whole career combined. The guy never missed games. So we know it's bothering him. But still, he's a difference-making force. I looked this up 2 years ago when the Wolves upset the Nuggets in 7 games. Jokic averaged just a little bit under 4 assists more per game in the wins than the losses. He averaged about 10 assists in the wins and a little over 6 assists in the losses. The Wolves' game plan at that time was to defend Jokic's pass. They put Karl Towns. I mean, obviously there was different rotations and what have you, but their basic strategy was put Karl Towns onto Jokic and have Rudy Gobert play center field to defend that pass. And in the games where they were able to make him a passer or make him a scorer, they had success. In Game 6, which Minnesota won, Jokic had 2 assists. In Game 7, which Denver obviously blew the big lead on, he had 7 assists, and I think only had 1 or 2 in the second half. So that will be, I assume, the game plan. Again, I guess we're going to see maybe Julius Randle.
It'll have to be Randle, and talk about a massive challenge for Randle, who is a big, strong, physical guy, but Cat's 7 feet tall. Julius Randle's 6'9". That's a pretty massive difference, especially with Joker's ability just to turn around and knock down shots over guys. And I think the other big development for Denver offensively since then, when you talk about taking away Joker's pass, you're really specifically talking about with Rudy in that center field role, being able to take away the lob or the dump off to Aaron Gordon coming out of the dunker spot or cutting. Gordon since then has developed into a 40+ percent 3-point shooter over the last couple of years. His injury interrupted as they are. So, we talked about who was the big shot it was the big shot against the Spurs that Gordon hit, where he's in the dunker and he reads it, and the space that was available was backing out to the corner 3, and boom. So that just adds a whole new element for the Denver offense and for just that chemistry between Gordon and Joker. Yeah.
Also, the other way around, in that series, I pretty much think that Denver just didn't really guard Jayden McDaniels. Jayden McDaniels had a 41% season from three-point range. Last year, he shot 33%. So, when you talked about Steph Castle a minute ago. Well, you see who you leave open. Maybe you can't leave Aaron Gordon open, and maybe you can't leave Jayden McDaniels open either.
The Spurs in that game left Christian Brown open, and he made him pay for it.
Yep.
So Christian Brown is not a high volume 3-point shooter, but he got a bunch of,